Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Football Picks and Bets presented by PrizePicks. I am your host, Lauren Carpenter, and this is waivers and streamers for Week 12. It's hard to believe that we are already heading into Week 12. At the time of this recording, we have not yet seen the Monday night football game. So if you're watching this on Monday night, keep your eyeballs on some of those players who could possibly be available in your league between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and, kind of unlikely with that team, and the New York Giants. But before we get into any of our waivers and streamers, there's a few things I need to discuss. One of them are injuries. Nobody likes it, but unfortunately, that's just kind of par for the course when we're talking about who we can pick up on the waiver wire. But most importantly, if you have not done so already, please head over to prizepicks.com, use the promo code MMN, and you can get your deposit of up to $100 matched. And you get to be a part of our 7-Eleven challenge. It is not too late to join. We have prizes from first, second, third, in the middle, and dead last. So you can do it. Come on in and join. PrizePicks.com, promo code MMN. There is a very convenient link in the description of this video. It takes you right there. Should have the promo code in there, but if not, double check. Make sure it's MMN. Your deposit gets matched up to $100. PrizePicks.com is super fun. It's over-unders. It's not just football. It's tons of things. But to get in on our 7-Eleven challenge, all you have to do is pick 5 players from the Thursday and Sunday games, not the Monday night, but Thursday and Sunday. Pick 5 players and just change your bet amount to $7.11. That is how PrizePicks will track all of the entries. We have hundreds of them to go over today, and I'm going to go ahead and go over the week before that we missed because there were so many people that signed up and got to play in our 7-Eleven challenge that it took forever to update. So let's go ahead and head right over there because I have some sad news for you. Alan W., you are no longer in first place. What are you doing? Come on, man. You can do it. But Joseph W., you have overtaken Alan W., and you are at 38 correct. This is not including the Week 11 games, just so you know. This is through Week 10. So Joseph W., you are in first place right now. Alan W., you are in second place with 36. And we have a few people here at third. Jason K., Adam H., and John H., you are all at third place. And give me just a hot minute while I scroll all the way down to the bottom at our zeros. We have Ty S., William H., Nicholas T., Dale P., I still see you, my friend, John B., Jasmine C., Francis K., and Alexa D. You are all at 0. But, you still get prizes at last place. So this is the 7-Eleven challenge. This is super fun, and I can't believe we have just had a coup that has happened in our 7-Eleven challenge. Joseph W., you are now single-handedly in first place. Alan W., you are single-handedly in second. Good luck, my friends, when you head into Week 12. Again, this is from Week 10's challenge from the start of the season through Week 10. So I will have Week 11 for you next week. But let's hop right into the not-so-fun portion of our waivers and streamers show. That is injury. Now, there were some injuries that I did not include here today because I don't really know too much about them, and the biggest one is Najee Harris. That is something we need to keep our eye on, so make sure you always tune in to the Friday show with our esteemed boss, if you will, Pat Mayo. He has the updated, most recent news when it comes to what injuries have occurred. Then we have a way better idea of practice reports. Also, we have 3 games on Thursday, something to definitely keep in mind. And there's 2 players that are in doubt for Thursday. That is CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, the wide receivers for the Dallas Cowboys. So keep your eye on their status. Amari Cooper is unlikely to play. It's the COVID-19 protocol situation. He is not vaccinated. I don't know if they've officially ruled him out yet or not, but unlikely that he's going to be able to suit up. And then CeeDee Lamb is going to go through the concussion protocol. Now, he is going through a lot faster than expected. He said he did feel much better today. This is Monday than he did yesterday after he took a hit to the head, if you will, from the ground. Dak was intercepted in the end zone, and as CeeDee Lamb was going backwards, his head hit the ground pretty hard. So he's questionable. I would still call this unlikely. Make your plans for dealing with what you're going to do if you have either CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper. Also, some even more sad news. Jamal Agnew, wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he is going to miss the remainder of the season with a hip injury. Michael Carter, running back for the Jets, the rookie that we're all very excited about, he has a low-grade ankle sprain, and he is likely to miss the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that is a big bummer as well. And then Jordan Howard, one of our veterans that just was, activated from the practice squad randomly by the Eagles. He is going to miss week 12 at least with a knee injury. So that is the latest that I have here on Monday, November 22nd, heading into week 12. We still have the game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New York Giants to play tonight on Monday night. Well, let's hop right into our waiver wire. And I would like to say that I have good news and bad news, but I don't. I have bad news all across the board. This is terrible. This is one of the worst waiver wire weeks, I think, ever. Yeah, I think ever. I think I've ever done. This is gross. When I had to go through all of these players and try to get some names here for you that I could present in a manner that didn't make you nauseous, it was very hard to do. Let's start with the running back position. Again, very gross. And let's go with Latavius Murray from the Baltimore Ravens. He is 31-ish rostered. Let's call it 32% rostered. And the game was weird for the Baltimore Ravens. I know they did win, but Lamar Jackson has been sick, and he's been sick a lot. So I don't really know why, but he did have to miss the Sunday game. It's non-COVID related, but he did have to miss the Sunday game, which means Huntley was in as the quarterback. So this was going to be a pretty crappy situation for all the pieces involved, no matter what. But Latavius Murray, all right, he did have 10 carries for 32 yards. He normally will get a touchdown out of one of those, but he didn't. He had 2 targets. But still, Latavius Murray is that guy that usually falls into the end zone. So if he's available, he is a running back that can help you replace someone like Michael Carter, for example. It's gross because it's touchdown dependent, and I don't really like that. Plus, they're going to play Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. You want to talk about division rivals? Interesting. That's going to be a crazy next 3 weeks for that team. So hopefully Lamar Jackson gets better. Latavius Murray hopefully will see the end zone, but unfortunately his massive fantasy days, which can we call them massive? I don't even know if we can. They rely on touchdowns. And I'm not getting any better as I continue on this list. Quadre Ollison of the Falcons, because let's go ahead and just do the revolving door with our running backs for the Atlanta Falcons. Why not? He is 1% rostered. The Wayne Gallman was a popular pick. I liked Wayne Gallman. He did really well for the Giants when he filled in for Saquon Barkley several times, but it was really gross for Wayne Gallman, and I think he got me negative points. It was very sad. But Ollison, on the other hand, had 9 carries for 34 yards. He also had 2 receptions on 3 targets. It was just a bad game for the Falcons as well. Just gross. And they need Cordell Patterson back, which is, kind of meh. But the Falcons really need to figure out what they're doing. But again, if you need a warm body who's going to be starting, I guess Quadre Ollison. It's nasty. I don't like any of these options. It's horrible, but I have to tell you about them because you may be in a situation where you have to pick one of these guys up. Now, the schedule isn't terrible. They play Jacksonville, which I really like. They play Tampa Bay, which has possibility, but then they play Carolina, which is going to be a little bit tough. So Quadre Ollison, 1% rostered of the Atlanta Falcons. And then finally, we have the running back duo tandem, if you will, between David Johnson and Rex Burkhead. I know, I feel like 2017 called and they want their running backs back, but they are the running backs for the Texans. And David Johnson is around 29% rostered. I'm not even sure if Rex Burkhead is rostered. It might be below 5%, widely available. But unfortunately, Tyrod Taylor rushed in 2 of these touchdowns on his own. So it's like he's snipering away like the Lamar Jackson of the Ravens. He's doing the same thing here with the Texans in their stunning upset victory over the Tennessee Titans. Don't even get me started about Ryan Tannehill. I don't want to talk about it. Oh, so bad. But David Johnson, he saw 13 carries for a whopping 18 yards. I didn't even know that was possible, but apparently it is. So 13 carries, 18 yards. He also had 3 receptions on 4 targets for 16 yards. And we're going to have to rely on touchdowns here. That's not very pretty. And Rex Burkhead had 18 carries for a slightly more respectable 40 yards. If either one of them gets a touchdown, it will make your fantasy day here, but this is more desperation play, if you will. They have a very good matchup, however, in week 12. They're facing the Jets, and then in week 14, they're facing the Seahawks, who have a terrible defense against the run. But week 13, right in between those, they're playing the Colts. I don't really like that very much at all, but if you're in deeper leagues, or again, if you are desperate, really hoping to have some kind of a warm body to plug and play, those guys could be available, likely are available. Do I like it? No. And if you need a running back that you have to pick up off the waiver wire this week, I'm really sorry. That stinks. But with Michael Carter's injury as well, Ty Johnson should be available in your leagues. I will give him an honorable mention. It's just very difficult with the whole quarterback situation. We don't know if Zach Wilson is coming back. Joe Flacco really likes to pass. It's just weird. It's not pretty. It's not lovely, and it's not something that we really like to see when we're trying to help all of our friends and our family here in fantasy football do well. So I don't like any of the running backs this week. They're stinky. And I don't really know how much I like the wide receivers either. That's also likewise gross. But let's start off with Cedric Wilson, one of the only remaining wide receivers that are possibly left besides Michael Gallup. And if he's available, go get him now. But Cedric Wilson is around 2% rostered. He had himself an interesting game. He saw the targets, which was very nice, but he also had some significant drops. So hopefully that was just a weird thing that they had against the Chiefs, because they will play the Raiders, which is pretty good, and they'll play New Orleans, and then they'll play Washington. So there is opportunity for Cedric Wilson if Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb have to miss any more time. But for Thursday, if you have to play somebody, you might have to pick up Cedric Wilson if you are in the position where you don't have CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper. It's not fun. None of this is fun. This is a very non-joyous video that I'm sending to you. Maybe if I say it in a really fun and nice way. Let me try this one. Jamison Crowder of the Jets. No, it doesn't even work. 21% rostered. No one can get excited about the Jets. Who's going to get excited about the Jets? No one. You can't get excited about the Jets. I've already said so because of the quarterback situation. But Jamison Crowder is one of those rare beings that can somehow still get a decent fantasy day. He's only 21% rostered. They will play Houston, and then they play Philadelphia, and then they play New Orleans. I like the Houston matchup. Philly and New Orleans, not so much. Elijah Moore is going to be the big play guy, and he has been seeing a significant uptick in his targets as well, but Jamison Crowder gets it done. He got a touchdown with Joe Flacco. He was actually doing pretty well when Zach Wilson was in also. So Jamison Crowder isn't one that I absolutely despise. I just wish there were other better options, but unfortunately, Jamison Crowder is my favorite out of all of these pickups here, and he's only 21% rostered. And then we have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, which, speaking of drops, he is literally one big play away of dropping a football and then losing Aaron Rodgers' respect for at least maybe like 2 weeks. But MVS is stepping up in the place of Allen Lazard, and he is only 6% rostered. This is one of the wide receivers for the Green Bay Packers. Very volatile, but there's a need and there is a necessity, and the Packers have to start winning. And they have a very tough matchup here against the Rams. Then they face Chicago, and then they face Baltimore. Now, he did see a season-high 10 targets without Allen Lazard on the field, but he only got 4 of them. But they were for 123 yards and a touchdown. So it was there, but he has to get a ton of volume because he is kind of that big play guy. So I don't necessarily know if I should knock him on that, but man, he scares me because he's one of those guys where I get scared when he gets the rock because he drops it like a hot potato. Another one I don't really love either here is Russell Gage of the Falcons. He is around 19% rostered. And the reason I don't love Russell Gage, it's not because of Russell Gage, because I really do like him as a wide receiver. Very solid, very steady. But the Falcons are really struggling. They had a terrible Week 11. Absolutely terrible. But he did have 8 targets, which we like that kind of opportunity in fantasy football. Now, he did not get a score, but he did have 5 receptions and 49 yards. So the stat line at the end of the day isn't very pretty, but he's literally 1 touchdown away from having a very good game. And they're going to play Jacksonville here in Week 12, which is nice. And then they play Tampa Bay. Also, you can exploit that when it comes to the Tampa Bay's secondary. And then they face Carolina, which is a little bit more of a tougher matchup. Now, in addition to Michael Michael Gallup that I already mentioned at the top of this segment, I also want to bring up Van Jefferson and Robbie Anderson. Both of them are about 50% or more rostered in most leagues, so they may not be available, but if they are, I would recommend picking them up. Van Jefferson still has a connection with Matt Stafford. I'm not necessarily worried about OBJ overtaking him in the short term, so especially after that really weird game that they just force-fed OBJ there in the beginning, which was, as Rachel Bonetta of the NFL Network said, corny, which I thought was pretty hilarious. But if those guys are available, I would take a shot on them, especially Robbie Anderson, who has a pretty good rapport with Cam Newton. And then finally, with our waiver section, let's hop into our tight ends. Equally as gross. I mean, that's just going to be, that should just be the title. Just gross waiver wire. Just gross waiver wire week 12. Icky. But this one isn't horrible, I guess. He was one of the tight ends that was a sleeper hype, if you will, not a post-hype sleeper, because that's not what I'm saying. But we had a lot of high hopes for him, but they did not come to fruition until recently. This is Adam Troutman, tight end for the Saints. He is only 7% rostered. And Trevor Siemian has been looking his way. He had 5 receptions for 58 yards and a touchdown. And I don't love the matchup against the Bills here. It's gross. And but it is the Jets after that, which is very nice. So week 12, iffy, but hey, week 13 could have some potential there. And tight ends is always a dumpster fire anyway, so not really expecting that to be a barn burner, but if you're desperate. And as I mentioned a few times here, we have yet to see the New York Giants play tonight as of this recording moment. But Evan Engram, he is only 29% rostered, and he has scored a touchdown in his last 2 games. This was after he missed the first 4 weeks after getting injured in preseason, and he's been relatively quiet since then. But now he's starting to see and haul in the end zone targets, which is what we very much like in fantasy football. And he has a quite favorable schedule. And the Giants are kind of in the hunt here. And they're knocking on the door, which I like. So they have Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, and Miami. So not amazingly awesome, but also not too terrible. So Evan Engram is an option there. And my tight end honorable mentions here for week 12 are going to be Tyler Conklin. And then Logan Thomas of the Washington football team should hopefully be back, as well as Dan Arnold. I do like Dan Arnold a lot. For some reason, I always forget about him. Maybe because his name isn't very flashy, but I usually just forget about Dan Arnold. But not many other people have, because he is over 40% rostered. So if one of those guys is available, I would likely go with someone like Dan Arnold or Logan Thomas over my 2 waiver wire options. But if they are unavailable, which they might be, these are 2 options that should see some action here in week 12. Now let's hop right into our streaming options here at quarterback and at our defense, special teams, our DSTs. Is the trend getting any better with how much we love this? No, it's really not. I think there's only one I really love out of this one, and that's from the defense special teams. Like, literally out of this whole video, that's the only one that I have relatively close amount of faith in. But let's stick with our quarterbacks here first. Daniel Jones of the Giants, only 32% rostered. This is not necessarily for week 12. This is looking forward and ahead to week 13 when they play Miami. And Miami has allowed the 8th most points to quarterbacks, and that's right when we're really going to need some points. And I like that matchup. I don't know how much I trust Daniel Jones, though. But if you need to look ahead maybe 1 or 2 weeks, week 13 is going to be very good for Daniel Jones. Now, Mac Jones, let's stick on the Jones train here. He is 40% rostered there playing the Tennessee Titans, and Tyrod Taylor literally looked like Christian McCaffrey running against the Titans defense. They have allowed the 4th most points to opposing quarterbacks. So Mac Jones, 40% rostered there, the quarterback for the New England Patriots. And then last but not least, this is my favorite pickup, Taylor Heineke. He's back. Did he leave? He did for a few weeks. But you know what? He is getting it done. A win against the Buccaneers, now a win against the Panthers with Cam Newton back in Carolina. Get it done, Taylor Heineke. 20-plus points in fantasy football. I absolutely love it. Only 17% rostered, and they're playing Seattle, okay? They're broken. So I really like Taylor Heineke's opportunity here. Again, they're 18th best or 18th worst, if you want to call, I don't know, somewhere around there when it comes to quarterbacks, but when it comes to Seattle's defense. I would pick up Taylor Heineke and see how he does. Or do it in a DFS play, but I do like Taylor Heineke down the stretch. I think his rest of season schedule is also very strong as well. Now to the only one that I think might do well. which means in fantasy football terms, they'll likely suck, which is the Chicago Bears, 23% roster. They are facing the poor beleaguered Lions on Thanksgiving. It's Detroit. Not only is it Detroit, but it's also a Tim Boyle-led Detroit. So fire up your Bears. Go pick them up, go start them, have confidence, and enjoy your turkey because you'll likely be scoring significant amount of points with your defense against those two. And if I'm wrong, sorry, maybe there's a Thanksgiving Day miracle. I have no idea. The other three I have are not great, but we have the Atlanta Falcons. They're only 5% roster. They're playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville has allowed the fourth most points to opposing defenses, so there's that. And then speaking of Houston, they're playing the Jets. So you could go two ways here. If you really want to be like muy caliente, you could pick up one because they play the other, or you can pick up the other because they play the other. Both of them have terrible offenses. So there is an opportunity for their defenses to step up. And the Texans did force 4 turnovers on Ryan Tannehill. So there's that. So out of the Jets and the Houston Texans, I would take the Texans. But if you're in a deeper league, you may not have a choice. But the streaming ability is there. The numbers are there. I guess it's just not great. Try to get the Bears. Like, just do yourself a favor and try to get the Bears. Again, they're only 23% rostered. The Jets and the Texans are like 5% rostered. I didn't even write it down because it was so useless. But sorry, this was a very pessimistic waiver wire show that I have presented you today. But it happens. Not every waiver wire is going to be full of hidden gems, but maybe there will be. Maybe one of these amazing fantasy personnel will step up and just make your week 12, make it beautiful. And hopefully one of them starts off your Thanksgiving week with extraordinary, yummy scrumptiousness like you will be mowing down on Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for joining me here. If you have not done so, please go ahead and like that video for me and subscribe here at YouTube at, Mayo Media Net. But social media, I think, is that what we're doing? I think it is. Either way, subscribe here to our channel at Mayo Media Net, but also follow us on social media at Mayo Media Net. I couldn't remember if Pat Mayo said he wanted one over the other, so we'll keep that between us. I don't remember. Go to both of them. Subscribe. We have so many good content creators that make wonderful content. They make videos, they do tons of research, they put these things together, and it's not just for football. We have them all across the sports, the sporting events, lots of fun things. Make sure you check us out there. And don't forget to head over to PrizePicks.com. Use the promo code MMN because you get your deposit of up to $100 matched. Hop in our 7-Eleven challenge, 5 over-unders, just not the Monday night game, 5 over-under players, and change your bet amount to $7.11. Alan W., you're in second place, my friend. Joseph W., you are now solely in first in our 7-Eleven challenge. Everyone enjoy your Thanksgiving, and you'll see me 11:30 on Sunday morning. That's right, I will be here again to help answer your start and sit questions for week 12.